Good evening and welcome back to Carter Shed. So back in the shed, and I want to get this dust hood finished off. The first thing I want to do is get the back on, but I've had a bit of a change of plan. I think I'm not going to bother with the 3D printed brackets on the back because it's actually wide enough that if we took off the front you would get that extreme bevels if I ever did need to do it. So having the front detachable is perfect, and then we can make the back a bit more secure. So the first thing we need to do is get it pulled out and see what we're dealing with. Now unfortunately the only bit of wood I've got in the shed big enough for the back is this nice bit of 18mm MDF. But hey, it's sitting there doing nothing, so let's get it cut up to size and test fitted to see if it's going to work. Okay, we'll get something cut to fill in this bottom section, but this is ideal to open up and vacuum out all the dust that's hopefully going to be sitting in there. So I do want it to be removable. Let's just get it marked up and see what we can do. Bandsaw. Okay, it's marked out. Let's get it cut on the bandsaw. Let's test this fit. Hey, simplicity! Okay, it's pushed back into place, and then we can start looking at the last couple of things to do, which is tidy up of the power cable so that it's out of the way of the saw and it comes out the top and plugs straight in, and then the dust extraction. Okay. So the power cable should be quite easy because we can just take this panel off, little hole or notch out here, take the plug up and bosh, in it goes. So that's the plan for that, and I'll show you that once it's done. Okay, just a little hole there, cable coming out, pulled up tight in here so it's out of the way of the saw, but it needs to go where it needs to go. Next, dust extraction. So the working plan I had was one hole for the battery powered dust extractor, and it's a nice little home, fits perfectly here out of the way, and is easy to grab for like hoovering the car and stuff like that. So one hole for this in here, another hole next to it for the shed dust extraction. I think this one will probably go straight on to here, and I'm thinking about doing something different for the dust collection here as well. And then the shed dust extraction just comes down and kind of sucks in this corner. So just to take that suction in here to try and keep it coming out into the shed and keep it within the box. So that's the working plan. I'll put a couple of holes in and see where we get to. Right, so my two little dust adapters, whatever they're called, are now off the printer. This one here is obviously for pulling dust straight off the blade down here. It is a little bit too long. It does pass here, but see, it needs to come up for any workpiece that's going to be in here. I'm also going to open up this side just so the dust will get pulled straight in. Rubbing a bit here, so this will need modified, and then this one is going to be sitting in at the other side just to try and get a bit of airflow coming in here to pull dust back into the hood rather than it coming out in this big hole here. Now, so I've got my ports in. This needs to get mounted around here somewhere. And I've made this little bracket. We've got the Velcro and then we've got the bracket, because that pipe is just going to be want to rip that off. So hopefully with the two of them that should keep it in place where it needs to be. So if we get it marked up and then we can get it mounted. Right, so this is cut down and a little bit of a space at the back to try and pull some dust in that way.
I'm going to get some Velcro in here, but I just want to get it in and test it to see how it performs. Hook up some dust collection and we'll give it a test and see how it's looking. Not perfect, but a hell of a lot better than it was without anything. So do a couple more cuts without any dust collection and we'll see what happens. Definitely a lot more on the same cuts there. Quite a bit over this side. So it's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was. Boom. So that will do it for this video. We've got it to a certain point. It's kind of working. It definitely needs improvement, but it's better than it was. But that's it for now. Thank you for still being here, and good evening.